The man who looked like a myth, but lived like a warden. The shocking story of Paul Dillet. In the brutal world of bodybuilding, where size is king and symmetry is law, there emerged a figure so massive, so otherworldly, that people didn't just admire him, they questioned reality itself. Paul Dillet wasn't just a bodybuilder. He was a walking paradox, an enigma carved out of granite and chaos. Standing tall with a frame that seemed engineered rather than born, Dillett brought something to the stage that no one could quite explain. His muscles didn't just grow, they exploded. His presence didn't just fill the room, it dominated it. When he stepped on stage, it wasn't a competition anymore. It was a spectacle. But behind that monster's physique was a story, far more shocking than any flexed pose. The genetic freak that defied logic. Paul Dillet had one of the most insane combinations of size and structure the bodybuilding world had ever seen. We're talking about towering height, freakishly wide shoulders, and muscle bellies that looked like they were stretched beyond human limits. He didn't just look big, he looked unnaturally engineered. Judges were often left confused. Fans were left speechless. Because here's the twist: despite his overwhelming size, Dillet never fully fit the mold. His conditioning, razor-sharp dryness and definition, sometimes lagged behind his sheer mass. And in bodybuilding, that's the difference between greatness and immortality. But that didn't stop him from becoming one of the most unforgettable figures in the sport. The night his body betrayed him, on stage. Now here's where things turn from impressive to downright shocking. During the 1994 Arnold Classic, something happened that would haunt bodybuilding history forever. As Dillet prepared backstage, his body, this monstrous machine of muscle, suddenly locked up. Severe muscle cramps took over. His massive frame, once a symbol of power, became a prison. He couldn't move, he couldn't pose. He couldn't even stand properly. Officials had to assist him as he struggled in agony. Imagine that, one of the biggest men on the planet, brought to his knees, not by weights, not by competition, but by his own body turning against him. It wasn't just a physical breakdown. It was a moment that exposed the brutal reality of extreme bodybuilding, the razor-thin line between dominance and disaster. Power without control, a dangerous combination. Dillet's career became a symbol of something deeper. What happens when raw genetic power isn't perfectly controlled? He had the tools to be unstoppable, yet inconsistency became his shadow. Some days, he looked like a future Mr. Olympia. Other days, he looked like a giant who hadn't fully unlocked his final form. And that unpredictability, it made him both fascinating and frustrating. Fans would ask, what if Paul Dillet had perfected his conditioning? Experts would wonder, was he too big for his own good? Because in bodybuilding, more isn't always better. Precision matters, balance matters, and sometimes the biggest physiques come with the biggest risks. Legacy that still shocks today. Even years after stepping away from the spotlight, Paul Dillet remains one of the most talked about physiques in bodybuilding history. Not because he dominated every show, but because he could have. He represents unrealized potential on a terrifying scale. A man who looked like he was built to destroy competitions, yet never fully conquered them. And that's what makes his story so powerful. He didn't just inspire awe, he sparked debate. He forced the bodybuilding world to question its limits. How big is too big? How far can the human body be pushed before it pushes back? A lesson carved in muscle. Paul Dillett's journey isn't just about size, trophies, or stage lights. It's a warning disguised as greatness. Because behind the jaw-dropping physique was a truth many ignore. The body has limits, even when it looks limitless. His story reminds us that chasing extremes comes at a cost. That power without control can collapse in an instant, and that sometimes the most shocking legends aren't the ones who win everything, but the ones who show us just how close we can get to the edge. Final impact. Paul Dillet didn't just compete, he disturbed the norm. He walked into bodybuilding like a storm, leaving behind questions that still echo today. Was he ahead of his time? Was he too extreme for the sport? Or was he the ultimate example of what happens when human potential goes just a little too far? One thing is certain, you don't forget Paul Dillet. Because legends come in many forms, but only a few leave you wondering if what you saw was even human.